Well, hello and welcome, everyone, to Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. I'm your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and I am so glad to be here with you on a Monday night. And I say that not because it's Monday, because I know most people, could care less about Mondays after the weekends, but it's good to be here. We've been off the last couple of weeks, bringing the show to you and some great interviews. So it's kind of like, I think this is like our first show for the new year, so we're really stoked about that. And what better way to get things going tonight than with the guest that we have. And I'm so pumped and so stoked. Now, for those of you who listen to the show regularly, if you're all of a sudden scratching your head going, what is wrong with her voice? Let me just preface things by saying that tonight I sound good compared to what I sounded a couple of days ago. I've been fighting bronchitis, really bad cold, and I'm on the back end of it, but I'm still not there yet. So the voice is still a little crackly and it's still a little weak, but if you can bear with me, I feel sure when you find out who we have on our show tonight, you'll be so glad you listened to my scraggly voice. But nonetheless, thank you so much for being here. We're so glad to have you. And many thanks if you're brand new to our program and you're checking us out for the first time. We're glad to have you as well, and we hope this won't be your last visit. And tonight I am so excited because our guest is a return guest. This will make their third appearance on our show, which I have to say, from the time that we began Jammin Jukebox in July of 2012, this has been one of my favorite all-time bands. Of all the artists that I have interviewed, I have to say their music, these guys are top-notch, and it is no surprise why they are going places in the world of indie music, and they're making the big, they're just making all the noise that they're making in this world of music because their music is just unbelievably good, and they're currently working on some new stuff, and I'm always glad to have them on the show. And I want to give you a little bit of background if you're a first-time listener and you don't have any clue who I'm talking about. Our guest tonight is an acclaimed indie alternative rock band. They are based out of Hartford, Connecticut. And at the end of 2011, their highly anticipated debut album, Sundrenched Elsewhere, was dubbed the #1 Connecticut album of 2011 by America's oldest continuously running newspaper called the Hartford Courant. And then in September of 2012, they were named the best overall band at the statewide first annual Connecticut Music Awards. And so they have gone on to do some incredible things. And it's been a little while since we've spoken with them. And I follow them religiously on social media, so I stay pretty much up on all the great things they have going on. And I tell you, since their last visit here, which was just a little over a year ago, they have really been busy. And tonight we are just so proud and honored to welcome John from Echo and Drake. Hello, John.
Oh, hello.
Hi, are you here?
I am, yeah.
I didn't know if I had you there at first. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Thanks so much for the really nice introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, welcome back to our show. You are a three-peat now. I mean, I think you're the only band artist that I can say has been on our show 3 times. So you've got the gold medal, man. I mean, you you won the prize, but it's always a pleasure having you here. And if I could have you on weekly or monthly, I would. I mean, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, we would.
And as I was saying in the intro, I mean, you guys have been so busy since the last time you were on the show. I mean, as I've continued to follow you, you just continue to do amazing things in the world of indie music, and so many doors have been opening. I mean, it's crazy how busy you guys have been and all the things that have been going on. So catch us up. What has been happening for those who do not know?
Sure. 2013 was probably, I guess, our best year yet, so we're excited for 2014. But yeah, in 2013 we very fortunately got invited to play a bunch of really good shows. So we got to play some kind of like music festivals, like Music Fest in Pennsylvania, and IM Festival, and Outside the Box Festival in Boston, Harvard Square's Oktoberfest. And we just thought our last show was a week or 2 ago at the Hard Rock in Boston, so that was exciting. We had a lot of other good stuff too. So 2013 we almost played at the Grammys, and almost is good enough for us. So it got narrowed down from like maybe 1,500 bands in the country down to about 7, and so we were one of those 7 who sort of had a shot to play at the Grammys. But then there was some shadowy voting that went on. We're not really sure how they actually chose who played at them at that point, but it was still very flattering to be one of 7 bands in the country that almost got to play there. And we had some other cool stuff like Morning Dove off of our album Sundrenched Elsewhere got actually featured on an MTV Japan Top 5 countdown. That was pretty cool. We got on the radio in Germany and Australia and South Africa and the UK. And then kind of the more fun sort of random thing that happened was we got our music was featured in this like international remix competition, which was hosted by Telefunken, which is a really great microphone company where we do a lot of stuff, and a music magazine in Poland. And so it's kind of cool just to have your music like sent out to all of these producers and things, and have it come back and like turned into dance songs and things like that.
Oh wow!
One of them was kind of like almost like a techno remix of one of our songs, which was really entertaining. And then right now, like usually the winter is fairly quiet for us, and we just sort of work on writing and planning for the coming year and booking things. But the next thing we've got coming up is that actually a second time, we were nominated last year in the New England Music Awards for Best in State for Connecticut, and unfortunately we didn't win, but still nice to be nominated. And this year we're nominated for Best Live Act, and so we find out about that on February 22nd, and that's actually open to the public if people are in the New England area and you want to go to the New England Music Awards. We'll be there. We can chat with you. But it's February 22nd at 7 p.m. in Lowell, and I think tickets are like $10. So that's kind of, and then I can talk certainly about the 2 EPs that we're going to release in 2014, but that's kind of what we've been up to until today.
Well, we will definitely talk about those. First of all, I want to just say congratulations on all the success that you guys had in 2013. I mean, definitely I believe the year was very good to you, and major kudos on being one of those 7 bands in the run-in to play at the Grammys. I mean, that is huge in itself. And I'll just tell you, John, being a veteran radio person for a long time and being a fan of music my entire life, you guys are going to be on the Grammys one of these days, and I can't wait. I mean, it's a matter of time, and if you think about it, every great band that you saw on the Grammys this year, they all started out the same way you guys have, just building that momentum and continuing to push and to go after the prize. And you guys have not stopped since you started. So it's just a matter of time. I mean, you're going to be the next big thing. I believe that from the first time I heard your music and to continue to maintain that to this day, and will continue until I see you on that stage. And I can't wait, because that's when I can go, hey, I knew them when, but yeah, very, very exciting, very, very exciting stuff for you guys. And of course, this year, we're already into February. I can't hardly believe it, but some great things are already happening. I mean, as you mentioned, you're working on a couple new EPs, which I know the fans are just anxiously awaiting new music, because you were kind enough to give me a glimpse of one of the songs, and I must tell you, you guys have outdone yourselves, and this is you're Grammy bound, man. You're Grammy bound. So talk a little bit about those EPs, if you will.
Sure. Well, we actually just the other day we had a successful Kickstarter, which was also kind of fun and exciting, because that's a way for us to, basically stay independent, which we'd like to do for the time being, even though we've, gotten some offers here and there and things like that. It's just kind of works for us. And so it was nice to get that support from our fans. And it also allows us to do some fun things in terms of sending people personalized rewards and stuff like that as a nice thank you for support. But that was to support 2 EPs, which we worked on with the same basically team of people that we worked on Sundrenched Elsewhere with, which was Joseph Donovan, who is a really good producer up in Montreal, who got a Juno Award, I think, for his album with Sam Roberts, and which is kind of like the Canadian equivalent of the Grammys. Mm-hmm. And so he's really great, and he's also just a really cool guy. His wife made us cinnamon buns and all kinds of delicious food while we were there.
Hey, those little perks always make all the difference, don't they?
Yeah, and we didn't get stopped by the Canadian Border Patrol this time, so it was a much more delightful trip.
Hey, things are looking up, right?
Yeah. We actually, the first time we went up there, our car got searched, and it was a big deal. We didn't have anything, obviously.
People are, see what I mean? The name's getting out, Echo and Drake. People are starting to know who Echo and Drake are. They're not going to stop you now, you know?
Yeah, right.
Next time you go, it'll be a personal escort across the border. You'll be in good shape, you know?
Well, it's funny, like, we were surprised at the border the first time. They were like, what kind of music do you play? And, well, I mean, they were asking in a much more combative way. But they were asking these, like, very specific questions about our music and stuff. Yeah, but not in, like, a fun interview kind of way.
Right. Well, that's when you just hop out of the vehicle and you just say, hey, let's give you a little, we'll give you a little show right here on the side of the road, you know. It either gets you arrested or on your way. I don't know which, but.
Yeah, we love Canada, though. It was a really good time to go up there. And we also got it mastered by somebody who was Jeff Lipton, who was nominated for a Grammy, actually, for his work with Bon Iver, I believe, which is pretty cool to get to work with somebody like him. And so they sound really great, and there are two of them. One of them is called Wine Cellar Ghosts. And I don't know how much time we have, but yeah, one of them is called Wine Cellar Ghosts, and the other one is called Empire. And if we have time, I can tell you more about them.
Well, of course, you've intrigued me by saying that one is called Wine Cellar Ghosts. Now, I just have to know, what is the backstory behind the title of that one? Because there has to be a story, John.
Yeah, it's one of those titles. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's sort of personal to us, I guess. It's sort of a reference to a couple things. One is our rehearsal space, which is very kindly lent to us by, like, basically a nice basement by our guitar player's brother and his wife, Mark and Eileen. They're wonderful. And there's sort of like this room off of the rehearsal space that used to be like an old wine cellar. And we were rehearsing down there for, like, a lot of years when a lot of these songs were being written. And so we used to just sort of joke about there being, you know, ghosts in the wine cellar, and also it's kind of a reference to just having, like, ghosts in your past, I guess, which kind of the songs almost sort of feel like they're about, because they're like these snapshots of people that, at least lyrically, like people that I knew, or experiences that I had, and I'm a little bit haunted by, I guess, but not in, like, a negative way, just in, like, that way where you think about your past, and it's sort of a mix of good and bad, as life usually is. So.
Oh, yes, that's true. It's always a roller coaster, you know. It's never one way or the other.
Yeah.
So that is for sure. Wow, that's really cool. And I mean, and that's not only is that a cool title for an album, but it's very catchy. I mean, people will remember that. And
cool.
but you know, that's the thing. I love your creative sense, because, you know, just like with Sundrenched Elsewhere, there was a really neat story behind that album title, and it seems fitting that you would kind of carry on that same theme per se for any future albums, just because it seems to go with the whole Echo and Drake thing. You know, that's my perception of it. No doubt about it. And talk a little bit about the other one, the Empire.
Sure, yeah. Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to mention, if that's okay, about Wine Cellar Ghosts, which is that we had Clara Berry, who's a really amazing female singer-songwriter, sing on it. And everybody who worked on it with us said she sprinkled some fairy dust on it. That was their phrase, so it was cool to work with her. But, but Empire, the Empire one is kind of more of a rock album, so the Wine Cellar Ghosts one is kind of our stab at indie folk. And then the Empire one is maybe a little bit similar to what people are used to from Sundrenched Elsewhere, but kind of more just rock and a bit more stripped down.
Mm-hmm.
So less overdubs. It's kind of like what we would sound like live, more or less, but with some production.
Well, the thing I love about the fact that you've got 2 EPs, it sounds like they're, musically they're different. So,
yeah.
When I think about that, I think about how much broader an audience base that you're going to be able to cover, by and possibly crossing the two, the folk art, audience liking the wine cellar one, and then possibly checking out the Empire and vice versa, and really digging, all different styles of music that you guys make, which I think is really a great advantage. And that's one of the beauties of being an indie artist and having your own thing that you do, and you're not signed to a major label, because you have that ability to just be as creative as you want to be. And it appeals, I think, to a lot more fan bases than just one genre of fans, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it appeals to us too, because I mean we don't just sort of, we don't want to make one kind of music.
Oh no.
or be known for one kind of music. There's certainly a lot of bands that do one thing well over and over again, and actually I like those bands a lot of the time, because you're like rooting for them to just keep doing the same thing over and over again. But obviously, if you make music, you kind of want to mix it up a little bit. But I think we like to think that we do a couple different things well, rather than just one thing well.
Well, and you do. You've proven that. And the thing about it, for you guys as a band, it keeps it fresh and it keeps it exciting and interesting for you, because you're not roped into one niche where you're having to play the same thing, or you've got a record label telling you, well, this is what the fans want, this is what's relevant, and this is what you have to do. And it may not always be what you necessarily want to do, but you're doing it to kind of fit the mold, so to speak. And at least this way, you guys can really branch out as far as you want to go and still make it original and be exclusively Echo and Drake. So, and I think that is awesome when an artist or a band can have layers of dimensions to what they do and what they put out. And unfortunately, there's a lot of artists that don't have that capability, and so that is rare when you can do that.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what else is happening now? The Kickstarter, of course, as you mentioned, was a huge success. I mean, it exceeded its your goal, which I think is just majorly awesome. And so I would love, and I said this to you before, but I would love to see you guys get down to North Carolina from Connecticut at some point. I don't know if it was this year, but definitely want to see you guys live, because I know you play one heck of a show. What kind of plans have you got going on there for that this year?
In terms of shows?
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of hard to say right now, only because a lot of it's just sort of like, negotiating various shows in a lot of different places. So not a lot of them are confirmed yet. But, I think I just moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts. And so we're a little bit more like geographically spread out, which tends to mean that we like to play where we live, and we're all kind of spread out now. So, throughout New England, certainly, and then we definitely have plans to get out to New York and Pennsylvania, potentially down to Maryland. There's some scattered other things that we're looking at doing, like maybe South by Southwest, which I believe is in Austin. And then there's also potential to do something in Florida, like one of the music festivals in Florida. And we would love to stop in between if we can.
Oh, wow. Well, if you're going to head down to Florida, you have to make a pit stop in North Carolina. So, North or South Carolina, and let me know in advance, so I can definitely check you guys out. I would love that. Wouldn't miss it for anything.
Yeah, and Montreal as well is actually is a pretty good possibility.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And, Canada, I've never been. I hear it's a great place to go and visit, and it's on the bucket list. I'd love to go at some point. But what a great place to go and play. So, and hopefully, like you said, you didn't get stopped over the border this last time, so next time they're just going to go, it's those guys from Echo and Drake. Let's let them on through, and you may get to play some more, in Canada while, as time goes on. So that's just awesome. You guys have got so much happening. It makes my head spin to think about it in terms of everything that you've accomplished and everything that is still going on that is yet to come. It's just amazing, all the incredible things. And as always, it is it's exciting to think what's to come, and that one day, yes, you are going to be on that Grammy stage. I feel confident.
I hope so. That would be a real victory for indie music, for sure.
Oh my gosh, and I have often said, especially as big as indie music is getting, it has a place in music now. I definitely believe it deserves a category at the Grammys, because there are so many great artists that are worthy of Grammy recognition, and I think it has a place, and and as strong as the indie music scene has become, I've said it before and I'll continue to say it, major music labels and record producers are missing out on the immense talent that is steeped inside the indie music genre. And so it's a real shame for the Grammy side of things, because artists like you guys, who deserve to be there, playing in that category, and who at this time want to remain independent, they need to consider that. And I think as time goes on, they're going to see that needs to become part of the Grammys as a whole, because there is a place for it, And I'm not talking about, just that be one of those categories that they award before the show airs at night. I'm talking about put the best acts on stage performing among all the other Grammy artists, and make it relevant, because it is relevant in my opinion. So that would be awesome. So I may advocate for that.
Yeah, please do.
Start the petition for it. Now, there is someone in our chat room, and he or she is asking, what about the new band member? And was asking, Rocco, is it? I guess they were asking if their name was Rocco.
Rocco, no. So that's interesting. I think maybe they just invented a nickname for him. Rocco is Carl Puglisi, who is our new drummer who joined us in 2013. That was I'm going to have to apologize to Carl later because that was an important piece of news for 2013.
Oh,
but he's been fantastic, and he joined us for Music Fest in Bethlehem, and that went really well, and everything's been great ever since. So we're psyched to have him.
Awesome. Well, the song that you sent my way just recently, I can tell you guys sound very tight on the song. I know you said there's still some work to do on it, but I was just so excited to get it. And I tell you, if there's just any indication of what the new stuff is going to sound like, man, fans are just going to go ballistic when they hear it. It's going to be some great stuff, and I can't wait for the two projects to come out. Which, by the way, do you have kind of a target date on either or of those two new ones?
Yeah, we have at least a month. Where it falls within that month, I'm not sure, but I think for Empire, kind of the rock EP, that should be somewhere around June or July, and then Wine Cellar Ghost it actually has a very fall or autumnal kind of theme to it, and so I think we're thinking of releasing that one somewhere around September, October.
Well, that sounds great. And the good thing is fans have two new releases from Echo and Drake to look forward to in this calendar year. And wow, what a major amount of promotion that you guys will get to have with both records, and that's going to be awesome. So that will carry you well into 2015, I'm sure. And it's going to be great. So, John, I want to thank you so much for being our special guest this evening. And as always, you guys are welcome back anytime. And just much continued good luck for all the great success that you're having, and especially as you go forward. And we look forward to hearing all the great things that are going to be happening this year and beyond for you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for having us, and for all your kind words, and for everyone who's listening in. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, give our best to all the guys in the band, and we will definitely be back with you again very soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care, John. Have a great night.
You too, thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Oh, we've been speaking with John from Echo and Drake, and I tell you, those guys, as I said at the top of the show, they are one of my favorite all-time indie bands from the moment I met them initially over almost 2 years ago now, and, you know, just continued to follow their music, big fan of their music. And before we wrap this evening, I do want to give you a sneak peek of one of the songs that's going to be on their two of their new EPs that are going to be coming out, and the song is actually called Conviction. It's a great song. It's not officially ready to be released just yet. This is a little bit of a sneak peek, but at least it'll give you a little taste of what you have to look forward to. This is Echo and Drake and Conviction. Brand new from Echo and Drake, and soon to be released. That is their newest song called Conviction, and they are currently putting the final touches on as we speak, and that is a little bit of a sneak peek. That will be on one of two EPs that is going to be coming out this year. They're going to have one out in May, and then later in the fall they'll have the second one out. So Echo and Drake fans, you have much to look forward to. Brand new music coming from the band this year, as well as all the great things that they have going on. And also, if you'd like to keep up with the guys, just go to echoanddrake.com. You can also follow them on Twitter, Echo and Drake, and on Facebook, and like their page, follow them, and you'll be sure to stay up on when that new music is due to be released. And, of course, as soon as they have it available, they will get it to us. We'll be promoting it and playing it here on our show as well. So, again, many, many thanks to John from Echo and Drake for being our special guest this evening. So very glad to have him with us. Always glad to chat with the guys and catch up and find out what's going on. And certainly look forward to having them back again in the very near future. And so that is actually going to wrap our show for this evening, folks. Thank you to all of you for being here with us. And if you're brand new to our program, welcome aboard. This is the Jammin' Jukebox radio show where we feature the music and interviews of indie artists. And we typically have a Saturday night show called Indie Artist Showcase where we feature music like what you just heard from Echo and Drake on our show that runs for a couple hours, and that is featured over on Spreaker.com on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, so hope that you will check it out. You can also follow us on Twitter at Jammin' Jukebox. You can also follow us on or like our Facebook page at Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show. And certainly hope that you will check us out and follow everything that we're doing. And you can also go to our website, thejamminjukebox.com, to stay up on when we will be having guests on our show, dates, times, and the like. So for Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show, I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, signing off, saying good night, have a great week, enjoy yourselves, be safe, and we'll see you back here again very soon. Take care all. Good night.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin' Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin' Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.